Welcome to the Red Card Football Channel. Today we'll be discussing Liverpool's excellent 1-0 victory over Real Madrid in the Champions League today. Liverpool started off being the far better team. Courtois had to make two outstanding saves. One was after a great cross from Wirtz. Scholesai hit it right at him, but he made an outstanding save. And then in the end of the first half, where Scholesai forced him to an outstanding fingertip save to prevent a goal. Madrid survived the scares to get at halftime at 0-0. And Liverpool completely dominated the entire second half as well, forcing chance after chance. Van Dijk forced Courtois to make an excellent fingertip save of a corner. Ekitike also forced him to make a save and missed a wide-open header to potentially make it 1-0. Liverpool kept battering Real Madrid. Courtois had to make another great save from Scholesai. But after Bellingham gave up a free kick, Scholesai sent an excellent cross into the box. McAllister headed into the back of the net to make it 1-0 for Liverpool. Real Madrid barely reacted, having their best chance of the game after a well-worked move. Mbappe had a half chance that just went wide. But honestly, Liverpool were closer to getting the second goal. Salah had a chance, and Ekitike had a chance to make it 2-0, but Courtois and Militao made key saves to prevent Liverpool from getting a second goal. Liverpool held on for a deserved 1-0 win, which was a very important win. Liverpool, after a slow start to the season, recovered, winning their last two games, deservedly beating Aston Villa on the weekend, and now having a fantastic win over Real Madrid. I think 1-0 was very flattering Real. I think Liverpool could have won by 2 or 3, maybe even 4 goals, if not for a spectacular Courtois and some very good performances by Cajetas and Militao, who made key blocks to prevent further goals. Scholesai was outstanding. McAllister was fantastic, not only his goal, but his passing. Gravenberg was great. I thought Wirtz probably had his best game in a Liverpool jersey, working really hard, playing a really good role on the wing, creating chances, creating a really good chance for Scholesai. I thought Salah had a bit of a quiet game, but still created problems for Real Madrid. And defensively, Konate and Van Dijk were outstanding today. Didn't put a foot wrong, made no mistakes. Connor Bradley made an unbelievable performance against Vinny Jr. I thought he was fantastic. Robertson was very solid as well. And Momodishvili made a good save from Vinny at the end of the first half to keep it a 1-0. But really, Real Madrid didn't deserve anything from this game. The entire team gets my red card. I just think they didn't show up today. I thought Alonso got the lineup right, but the tactics were really wrong. Madrid sat back and were far too conservative, didn't really press Liverpool the way they traditionally do. The midfield wasn't particularly strong. I thought Güler had a particularly bad game. Camavinga and Tchouaméni were very poor. Bellingham didn't have the greatest of games, and Vinny started off the game okay, but his second half was very poor, and Mbappe was very quiet because he didn't get any service. And defensively, they tried to hold on, but it was just wave after wave after Liverpool attack. I think Alonso did not reinforce the midfield in the second half, needed putting in Rodrigo and switching the formation to a 4-3-3, which I don't think worked out at all. It didn't create anything for Real Madrid, and Real Madrid were very poor. And Xabi Alonso has lessons to learn. How do we play better away from home against big teams? Because this is the third time in a neutral site or in a away game that Madrid have looked very poor away from home. The 5-2 against Atleti, the 4-0 in the Club World Cup against PSG, and now this game against Liverpool. He has to sort it out. All of his victories have been at home against big teams, against Juventus, against Marseille, against Barcelona. So he has to fix that if Madrid are going to be a serious contender for the Champions League. You can get away with this type of form in La Liga. There aren't that many big teams, but in the Champions League, you're not going to win a Champions League being poor on road and neutral site games, and that Alonso has to fix. As for Liverpool, after a slow start, they're back to being in the top 3 in the Premier League, and they have a massive game on the weekend against Manchester City, where if they have any hope of keeping their title race alive, they have to beat Manchester City at the Etihad. It's been a really good week for Liverpool after a really disastrous few weeks where they lost in the League Cup and had 4 straight Premier League losses. They bounced back well, and this win will put them in the top 8 of the Champions League, and they have a lot to look forward to. As for Real Madrid, they have Rayo on the weekend, and they hopefully should bounce back quickly to maintain the top of La Liga. They've had a very good start to the season, but they have adjustments to be made if they're going to be serious contenders in the Champions League. That's all for my analysis for today. I hope to see you next time.